So, Simon, who said this? Like many others, I doubted whether Arsenal were going to be able to keep the pace with Liverpool and Manchester City. I shouldn't have. I was wrong to doubt them. They're a hell of a side. Who said that?
The old sycophant.
The old sycophant. D. Murphy, Esquire, has reined back on what he said about Arsenal before, and now you are taking Arsenal seriously, are you, Mr. Murphy?
I mean, I still think City will win it over Liverpool and Arsenal, but yeah, I do see a difference in them. I thought maybe when they'd lost to Fulham and West Ham, I looked at them and I thought, I'm not sure. You know, last season they wanted to improve and be better, but those two results made me think they were in the same place. And actually, when the performance, they've beaten Man City, haven't they, at home? They've beaten Liverpool at home. They went up to Anfield and got a draw. There's a bit more about them, and I think Declan Rice is a huge factor in that.
He was fantastic on Sunday.
Their performance and intensity at the weekend, I saw the different sides to them. I thought, they mean business. There's a real togetherness there, like a tenacity about them, but cleverness as well. It wasn't just tenacity and energy. They were better than that. It was a really intelligent performance.
Okay, well,
so I think they will be there or thereabouts. I think they'll improve because of their experience last year. You can see that. You can see there's a difference in their mindset, I think.
So you think they'll be there or thereabouts?
I think City will just go. City will have enough.
But you're conceding that they have a more than good chance of winning it?
They have a better chance than they did last season with what I'm seeing.
Okay, because Souness the other day with us says, now, if anyone's going to challenge City, it won't be Arsenal, it will be Liverpool.
You know, it's very easy, to say this is wrong and that's wrong. It happens in football. You know, you could count on one hand the mistakes that Van Dijk's made in his time at Liverpool. He's been outstanding, superb. It happens. It happens to the very best. They had an off day yesterday. I still think Liverpool are very dangerous and will be the team to beat to win this league because they don't have to play well to win games. Because they've got a real goal threat.
But you're nodding in agreement, Simon,
what Danny
with
thinks.
that.
I was seeing what Danny
Well, I've said repeatedly that I think Liverpool's firepower is better than Arsenal, and I would still agree with that in terms of options and scoring goals. Where Arsenal might have an edge, although the numbers don't necessarily say, but in terms of their defensive capability, what you saw them do, shut out Manchester City. Didn't really look like scoring on the day when Arsenal beat them. Liverpool rarely looked like scoring the other day. Arsenal defensively look really good at the moment. So they might go about it a different way. It's not about how many goals you score. It's about how many you don't concede as well. So I think Liverpool and Arsenal will push City really close.
Right. And specifically on Arsenal, in terms of mindset, you know, what didn't they have last year that they really have this year?
Belief. I thought in the latter part of last season they lacked a bit of belief. Their confidence dropped. I think what they've got now with Declan Rice in the middle of the pitch is someone who really gives them an extra dimension. He was absolutely incredible. His physicality, he gets in the, he gets onto the other boys as well. He's turning into a good leader for them. They've got Timber to come back, international player. He'll give them competition in the defensive area. I think Jorginho's experience could be key. First time he'd played in God knows how long, he looked tremendous. I thought it was a brilliant performance. But you can't back against City because of what they've the last few seasons, their consistency in the second half of the season, business end, their experience, their strength in depth. The only thing with City, you could say this season, has been the glaring miss of Rodri when he's not been there.
Yeah,
that's the only
they missed him.
They lose games when he doesn't play. When he plays, there was a ridiculous stat. I'd have to get this checked. I think it's a calendar year or a full season that Rodri, when he's played, hasn't lost. Like 40, 50 games or something when he's been playing. He is the best holding midfield player in the world, and he is crucial to City. Probably their most important player because they've shown without De Bruyne and Haaland they can still win games.
I mean, for the neutral, it's a great story of Arsenal win it, right?
Or Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
Or Liverpool, but more specifically Arsenal, I think.
Well, because they haven't won it for 20 years.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden people are taking them and Arteta with the utmost seriousness.
I think people are taking them quite seriously now. I mean, whether they're taking them seriously enough to believe that they're a title-winning side is not necessarily meaning that they're not taking them seriously. I mean, I think Arsenal have always been in the conversation, but I've always felt that Liverpool and Man City will be in front of them.
So they're no longer bottlers in your eyes?
Well, they bottled it last year.
They might bottle it again. I just think they look a bit different.
But bottling it is a different dynamic. They were 8-9 points clear. They're not 8-9 points clear now. they're chasing. So it's a different scenario. They were on top of the league, and by the players that played at Newcastle in '96 admission, Les Ferdinand being one of them, I spoke to the other day, they bottled it.
Yeah.
So Newcastle didn't lose. Arsenal didn't lose the league last year because they got beat twice in 3 months to Man City. They got beat in not winning the league because of the games that they threw away, which were in their gift to beat the sides that were lesser than them.
Yeah.
And that is. But sorry, that's bottling it. Now, this season, I said that they'll spend £250 million and they'll stand still at very best. So, they won't win the FA Cup because they can't. They can't win the League Cup because they're not in the final, obviously. I don't think they'll win the Champions League. So, if they finish second at Arsenal, is that progress? I would suggest it is because they've stabilised.
It depends how far behind you finish.
Are they building a title-winning team? Is the question next?
Yes, they are.
They're building a title. You believe they're building a title-winning side?
Yeah, when you look
got to
at
buy a 25 a season goal scorer to do that.
I think so. I think the
I
majority.
think they showed
And
their
not
intent
Kai
of winning the
Havertz.
title
Do
when
you know-
they bought Declan. Everybody said, look at City. Now look at how prudent they are. They're not going to get dragged above 100 million to go for Declan Rice. They pulled out. Arsenal stayed in it.
Well,
Many people
they-
at the time said overpaid.
They didn't want him.
They could pull out because they had Rodri. They had one.
Well, they're still in for him.
Yeah, they were.
That's a matter of fact. They were in
Yeah.
for him. They just
want him
wouldn't
that
go
much.
beyond 100
Otherwise,
million.
They didn't want him that much.
Nah, they
They
didn't.
didn't want him that much.
Well,
And
they
then-
bid
and then
90.
we had that
We
ridiculous
don't know
discussion
they
with people coming on pundits, so-called pundits coming on, suggesting that Man City were helping bidding for getting the price
I remember
up.
that.
Remember those
Yeah, that
ridiculous
was
conversations
ludicrous.
there?
Yeah.
What is for
but
sure-
Is Declan not their Rodri?
Yeah.
Is he not the difference
Yeah,
between
he's-
Arsenal? He's the missing piece.
He's the reason they're better than where
But they still
were
haven't
last
got
season.
someone that can score 25
No,
goals a
but they
season
don't need to win games by lots of goals. They just need
because
to
they can defend better.
Well, they defensive record's really good. They're joint best in the Prem. Just actually on the Champions League, it's an interesting one because
You think they might win it?
well, they'd have to do tremendously well in a certain at certain points in the season where they'll be going for trying to win the Premier League as well. But in one-off games this season where Arsenal have been a bit different in the ability. So last year when Arsenal turned up to play City, you kind of think they're going to get done. You know, they turn up to Liverpool, you think, Liverpool favourites. One-off games they've shown against Man City beating them, against Liverpool beating them. They can beat the best. Man City are the best team in Europe.
Yeah.
They've beaten them. Now, away from home, they've gone to Anfield and got a credible draw. Let's see how they do at the Etihad. But in the Champions League, when things can go, you could argue they'd probably got more chance in that than the Prem with City's history.
You think they've got more chance of winning the Champions League than the Premier League?
Well,
Arsenal.
maybe, because one-off
Right.
games, they've shown they're capable. City, over 38 games, are relentless.
Yeah.
City in the Champions League can have a bad day.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the TalkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. TalkSPORT.